Just over a month ago, I made a video on the children's game Roblox and how predators are really taking advantage of it. But sadly, despite a new Roblox game even breaking 21 million concurrent players, they're still doing nothing about the problem. And let me just speak about that first actually, because recently Grow a Garden was released on Roblox, and like I just mentioned, it has peaked at over 21 million concurrent players. Now look, I'm a little bit suspicious and I think that a lot of them might be bots, but if it is true, and even still, there are certain to be a lot of children on that game. And with how bad Roblox's moderation is and how the predator problem basically comes to every single game, I really don't trust them with such a massive game. And for context, that's bigger than the entire concurrent count of Steam, the peak of Fortnite. That is the biggest gaming peak players of all time. And of course, it had to go to a game where the company are completely incompetent. Okay, so it's almost that time of the year where Roblox hosts their seasonal event called The Hatch. This is usually something that brings the entire community together, but this year it has been extremely controversial. And it's gotten to the point where multiple Roblox games and devs have actually pulled out of the massive event. So we already know that Roblox has a lot of safety issues, as highlighted in my last video and in many other videos on the platform. But they really missed the mark this time, and the general public are starting to become aware of it, because one of the most infamous users, known as the official Teddy, who has been banned from Roblox multiple times for rules violations, was personally invited to take part in the Hatch. A creator who, like I've said, they've banned was being featured. That makes absolutely no sense. These are screenshots from some of the games that he has created, and to be honest, I would describe a lot of them, if not most of them, as NSFW games. Games that should have no place on a platform where children are a large part of the audience. And the Rowcatcher's Twitter account has also highlighted that these games are often used by predators because they have a motel feature where you and another player can lock yourself in a room where no one else can see. And the games had suggestive animations that, although they seem innocent on the surface, they were used for lewd acts by these predators. And the problem is, a lot of these games are filled with young children. So for them to be a target of predators and for Roblox to leave some of them up for a long while, it's concerning. But like I mentioned, recently Roblox did make the correct decision and decided to completely terminate his account. However, for unknown reasons, he was actually unbanned from the platform and allowed to return like nothing had ever happened. And to put the cherry on top of that disgusting cake, Roblox also decided to personally invite him to the Roblox Developers Conference. But then the saga continued because Roblox did ban him again, and then quite recently this time, they unbanned him yet again. They can't just pick a decision and stick with it, can they? And not only did they unban his account, which he was using to create these disturbing games, but they actually allowed him to republish his games, which, like I mentioned, are a known target for predators. And again, this invite to the Hatch was personally delivered. So in turn, whether they want to deny it or not, if we look at everything on paper, Roblox are directly collaborating with a person who has made sexual experiences that are used by children and predators. And it's really crazy to me because think about the amount of actual good Roblox games that are out there, and instead Roblox would rather invite some slop developer who makes condo games to one of their biggest events of the entire year. Not only one of their events, but two. And the thing is, of course, this went a bit viral and people who play and discuss Roblox wanted to discuss it. And a hashtag was started to boycott the Hatch. But people who took that to Reddit to discuss it and try to get more people on board, their posts were actually removed by the moderators of r/Roblox. And of course, it's not Roblox who manage the subreddit themselves, but there is still a question to be had as to why the moderators are trying to silence an extremely important message, especially when it's something that directly affects millions of children who play the game. game. I just wanted to clarify that posts about this are now allowed on the subreddit. I don't know why the original one was taken down, but I think it's important to note that moderators are now allowing these posts. And although Roblox probably would have been happy to just sweep this under the rug and forget it ever happened, a lot of major developers on the platform have actually started to pull out of the hatch event as a result. MiniToon, who is the creator of the game Peggy, posted this tweet to his Twitter account. He said, "In light of recent events, we won't be participating in the hatch event any longer unless Roblox takes action. We cannot with good conscience support this event knowing they've invited a bad actor to take part. Sorry if this is disappointing news, it is disappointing to us too." And of course, because MiniToon is quite known and well respected within the community, Roblox actually responded to his post. They said, "The safety and well-being of the Roblox community is our top priority. On top of our community standards, we have additional guidelines to qualify to participate in platform events. The official Teddy should not have been invited. We have rescinded their invitation to the hatch and have taken appropriate action in accordance with our policies. Our team is thoroughly re-examining the invitation list against our community standards and are re-evaluating these processes to ensure an additional level of vetting for our invitees going forward." But the problem is, if we look at his account, it's still on the platform. So they can take back his invitation all they want and say that they're thoroughly examining their list of the people who they have invited, but when they're taking absolutely no action, when this person's account is allowed to stay up with 27,000 followers, even though it's been proven that his game is extremely harmful, especially to children, then that's dangerous. And to be honest, I don't trust Roblox with the community they have. And here's a fun fact for you: per 100,000 users, even LinkedIn has more moderators than Roblox. Do you know how absolutely mind-blowing that is? And this all invites the question of, why are Roblox actually so hesitant to ban the guy who is clearly violating multiple of their guidelines? Is it because he's making them money? Because undoubtedly he's making them quite a lot. Is it because they just don't want to ban someone and risk him speaking out even though everyone knows he's in the wrong? If it is that, then it's very concerning on Roblox's part. We have a big company who is not even enforcing their own rules. At that point, what's the point in even having a platform? What's the point in even trying to regulate it if you clearly don't uphold the rules if the person has a big enough following? And it's crazy because a lot of the accounts that were featured in my last video have still not been banned. A lot of the groups that were featured in my last video have still not been banned. So in my opinion, Roblox is genuinely turning a bit of a blind eye to what is pedophilia. And listen, I do understand that we need to give them a bit of slack in the sense of there's always going to be pedophiles on children's apps, sadly. You know, that really shouldn't be the case, but this is a sick and twisted world we live in, and it is quite physically impossible to get every single one. People are always going to slip through the radar, but the problem is, it's not even just the occasional one that they're not managing to catch. They're not banning a majority of predators that are on their platform. The least they could do is make it that little bit harder for them to find their victims. They've got a massive problem, and I honestly hope that any investors in the platform pull out. But sadly, Roblox are still valued as a really high value company, and that's just because of the size that they are. And I really think that the only way we're going to see change is if their profits start to drop. But when people still hop on games like Grow a Garden, even though their problem is this massive, then they're always going to make the same amount of money. And realistically, they're never going to be inclined to actually make real changes. And the story just never ends either, because the co-owner of the Teddy company, which appears to be a group that the official Teddy owns, their co-owner was not only caught in a child dating game, which would be kind of excusable because he is a developer, but it's concerning what he was doing in there. Take a guess, 3, 2, 1, he was having sex. It just doesn't stop. And not only has he been caught doing that in a game that is dedicated to child dating, which is a very controversial thing in the first place, but he has been caught in multiple condo servers on Discord. If you don't know what a Roblox condo is, it's basically a place where people can go to have mistakes. I showed a bit of them off in my last video where people can basically morph into anything and have very explicit animations. They can change all of their body parts, and there's usually some very disturbing content in there. So it's really disturbing that the co-owner of a massive group has been caught in these servers for seemingly no reason than what they are actually intended for. And here's a big kicker. Are you ready? Mic drop. He is dating a minor. This guy is 25 years old, dating a 17-year-old who he started dating when she was 16. Now look, don't know about you, but that's wrong. Very wrong. And to be honest, I'm getting the word nonce. And apparently the owner, it's Teddy, actually knows about this because the girl is ranked in his group. He is also friends with her and has game passes with his name on it. Technically, this could be legal. We don't know what country they really live in, we just know they live in Europe, and in some countries the age of consent is 15. I still do not believe that's right though, so, you know, do with that what you will. But still very creepy for a man who is 25 to go after someone that young. But even if it is legal in his country, Roblox is a Californian company, and the age of consent in that state is 18. So Roblox are bound by their laws. And apparently this isn't the first minor that he has gone for, because there was a Twitter thread dug up that included some concerning screenshots. He admits that he was speaking to a 16-year-old girl and that they were sleeping on call every night and doing all of that, you know, romantic. And when he was called out for this, he simply replied by saying, "Mr. USA dude, I legally can date what I date due to the age of consent. Can be in your eyes it looks crazy, but what I do is not illegal, I know my rights." To which the person in question replied, "Regardless of the law, you have a moral obligation not to groom children." Cook, my brother. Cook. And he even mentions in one screenshot that he wanted to keep this off of Roblox because he knows that if he was dating a minor while he is his age that it would break the Roblox rules. Because like I said, they're bound to Californian law and the age of consent there is 18 years old. And Rocatchers actually spoke with a moderator from the group and they confirmed that he did actually meet this girl through Roblox. So whether it's legal in his country or not, it is still another example of an adult finding a child to get romantic with through Roblox, which by their rules is against them. And a lot of people are suspecting that Teddy may not have known about his co-owner doing stuff like this, but genuinely, if I had to say my opinion, I would say that he is very aware. And I'm saying that because of the fact of his games. His games already targeted some disturbing content at children, so why would he really care if his co-owner was dating a minor? And to put the final nail in his coffin, Daniel is also showing NSFW content, and I can't say the word on YouTube, but you know exactly what I mean, to minors in Roblox. If that's not against the rules, then I don't know what is. So in my opinion, there's genuine zero excuse to ban both Daniel and Teddy. Teddy for making condo games and likely knowing all about this, and Daniel for being a creep. And believe it or not, at a time where Roblox are already kind of in the mud, they are just getting worse because another major incident just occurred, and it's one that the FBI actually investigated. Now, the reason the FBI were investigating this wasn't because Roblox themselves reported what I'm about to tell you, but because a user made a tip. So it wasn't even the company that prevented all of this from happening, and I'll tell you before I tell you this, if this had happened, then it would have been horrific rep for the company, and you'll see why. A Roblox user called Kraz3Pain was planning on the platform to commit a terrorist attack. They stated that they were willing to Shia Muslims at their mosque, and in other messages he told users that they should check their messages on Discord. We can get further context, and it would seem that Kraz had sent photos of firearms on Discord, and the person who it was sent to told him through Roblox to delete the images in case Discord flagged them as suspicious. But he didn't stop there because he continued to speak over Roblox at his desire to commit a mass attack on Christians and bring humiliation to whoever supported the cross. He stated that he owned at least one firearm, and when he was asked for a time that this was going to take place, he said in a couple of months. This was reported to the FBI by an anonymous user, and they investigated his account and eventually found billing information that led to him. He was located in Round Rock, and his real name was James Berger. Now, this all happened much earlier in the year, but we're just hearing more about it now. But on February 28th, the investigators conducted a search warrant of his home and seized seized his devices. On his computer, they also found that he had a keystroke logger program. And this would prove to be one of his downfalls because it was logging his plan to commit a terrorist attack. And so it was discovered that he would be attacking a music festival that would be attracting a bounty of Christians. And he had communicated this because the keylogger also noted that he had pressed enter after typing this. He was eventually interviewed by FBI agents, and when asked why he wanted to do this, he said that his end goal was to submit and live under the laws of God. He also said that it was either this or die trying. And he stated that after he carried out the attack, his plan would be to leave the US or martyrdom or bust. And when asked if he would describe himself as a terrorist, he said, "By my own definition, yes, I guess, I would be a terrorist." And when he was asked whether he would be looking for an assault rifle to carry out the attack, he said, "Yes, pretty much." And so the FBI officially arrested Berger. He was charged with making a terroristic threat with the intent to impair public service, cause public fear of injury, or influence government conduct. He was booked on February 28th and his bond was set at $200,000. He was eventually put in federal custody by May. And apparently the game that all of this was planned on is pretty rife with racists and massive extremists. So it says it all that this game is even still up, even though it's known by almost the entire community for these purposes. So what do I think needs to happen? First of all, I think Roblox need a serious revamp of their moderation team and system, because right now it's not working. Predators are running rife, and now terrorists, even some of their own developers, are participating in the predator problem. And like I said, there are a large portion of children who play Roblox, and I genuinely believe every single one of them to be at risk the second that they click on the platform. But like I mentioned, I don't really see them doing anything, and that's horrible to say. They're getting so much pressure from the community, and yet Teddy's account is still up, some of his games are still up, and they haven't really released much of a public statement. All they've said is that the safety and well-being of the Roblox community is their top priority, even though, factually, that is just not true. But I hope I'm wrong, and I hope that they can solve their problem, because right now, I am very concerned about the state of the platform. But thank you very much for making it to the end of this video. I really appreciate you. Like, subscribe, share the video, do all of that stuff if you enjoyed or learned something new today. And let me know in the comments what you think of this current situation. It's really messed up, and let me know if you think Roblox will do anything about it. Check me out on social media. I have Instagram and Blue Sky. And if you want to get involved with the community, you can join my Discord server. The link is discord.gg/Jessicur. We also have a Minecraft server now if you want to get away from Roblox for a bit. And thank you so much to my Patreon supporters and YouTube members: Brooke, Entrepreneur, Maury Gann, K4 Silver, Alex Rod, Basefinger, Carmilla, Tango Slime, Shoshka, Frozen Roses, Midnight Kitty, Sam, Colette Tiki, Moonbird, and Briar. I'll be back very soon with another video, but if you want another right now, then you should think that you'll like the video that's on your screen.